is we don't like national debt at $19,965 billion. So $20 trillion around the corner. We just hit 20,000 yesterday in the Dow Jones, or whatever the day before, Dow Jones Industrial Average. So my question to you is simple, okay? Is there any way that any president is going to avoid a debt bomb?
No, the debt bomb is going to explode. But what we've been doing with the debt bomb to diffuse it is the Federal Reserve has kept interest rates practically at zero, so at least we can afford to service the debt. Repaying it is completely impossible, but at least we can service it when interest rates are at rock bottom. But that's already changing. Interest rates are going up, inflation is going up, and so creditors are going to demand a higher premium to hold our paper, and we are headed off the edge of a cliff. And I think that the Fed is going to try to inflate its way out of this problem, but it's going to inflate its way into a bigger one.
All right, now let's take things one step at a time, okay? There was a time where infrastructure under previous administrations was a tough one, okay? So have the Republicans, are they going to give the new president an issue? Is there a difference between infrastructure spending with this administration versus others, or is it all pretty much the same in your mind?
Well, it's the same, and plus infrastructure spending is not going to help the economy. You don't help the economy by spending money. To the extent that we need to repair our infrastructure, that's a cost that we have to bear.
Hold the ranch. Listen, I agree with you on a lot of things, Peter, but I just put a roof on my house, okay? And I don't look at that as, unnecessary infrastructure spending. It was leaking. We have a lot of quote-unquote leaky roofs out there. So really, It's not stimulus. It's more like repairs. Now, I'm not saying that getting the money is going to be easy, but sometimes there is a difference.
Yeah, but it would have been better if your roof didn't leak and you didn't have to repair it because you could have used the money for something else. So the fact that we have infrastructure that is in need of repair is a negative. It is a burden. It's a sacrifice if we have to spend money building up our infrastructure. The fact that it creates jobs, that's not a good thing because we're diverting resources that we might otherwise have been able to use more productively to make necessary repairs to our infrastructure. But the other problem is we're broke. We can't afford to repair our infrastructure. That is the problem. And if we're going to divert resources to building our infrastructure, what are we not going to do, right? What are Americans going to stop spending money on so we can free up the resources to make these repairs?
Well, sometimes, Peter, don't you have to step out of the box a little bit, though? I'll give you a notion. We have trillions of dollars overseas that this president said he's going to allow businesses to repatriate. You ever hear of Build America bonds? So why doesn't he say, listen, you can repatriate it, but in order to do that, you have to play this little game of bond covenants. You have to participate in a Build America bond scenario where the covenants give you a bit less interest rates, and for that, you'll be allowed to bring this money back at a very low or maybe negligible tax rate. Your final comment. Can't we get creative? Is there no answer here?
Well, I hate to micromanage it. And, of course, they don't have to bring the money back. They can leave where it is and pay no taxes on it. And so if we try to be, too funny about all these requirements, they don't have to bring the money back at all, right? Because they got a zero tax rate where they are right now. But the bottom line is, you talked about at the beginning, all of this debt. Everybody is ignoring this. People are talking about, oh, we're going to get all this fiscal stimulus. The reason we haven't had it before is because we're broke. And we've been relying on this phony monetary stimulus. But if we actually try to increase already enormous annual budget deficits with tax cuts and more spending, then unfortunately the Federal Reserve is going to go back to the well. Right. We're going to do more quantitative easing, and we're going to end up destroying the value of our currency. Peter, and right now, sure, the dollar is at a 14, 15-year high, but it's a long way down. We're out of time here, Peter. I'm going to have to stop here, but I am going to bring you back in a year to see if all these clouds are still there. Thank you for taking the time and